Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reconvene this meeting again. I would like to give the opportunity to Roopchand and Seebaran to continue with their public comment and input. Yes, Roopchand, welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship, and members of council. Without any disrespect to you, Your Worship, my name is Roopchand, not Rupee. I would like to have a number of rupees, but anyway.
I'm going to apologize for it.
No, that's fine.
Their name, but thank you very much.
That's fine, Your Worship. Thank you. I would like to begin by thanking council for holding this hearing and giving the community a chance to voice their concerns, all sides of the issues and all their different viewpoints. I would like to ask, however, Your Worship, that in terms of procedure, freedom of expression is one of our rights. And so one can express oneself in words, but they can also express themselves by applauding. And people should have that right. I think you have... No, I was just going to say, I think you have the right and the discretion to decide how much of that is allowed, but you shouldn't say that you would not allow it, and that's what you did say, and I think that that is wrong.
Thank you. Thank you for your perspective. Go on.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by asking some procedural questions. The first has to do with, once the hearing is closed, what are the steps that you as a council will take before you consider adoption of these bylaws?
I believe that you've been to a number of public hearings in the past, Roopchand. When the council will listen to your comments, we may schedule a meeting where we will be considering third reading, and that third reading we will, or the council will resolve whether they want to schedule a meeting to have that reading, or in some cases, you know that the council is within its rights. If they don't want to reschedule, they could give it the third reading the very time that they close the meeting. But that depends on the council. Ultimately, it's the council which makes the decision, resolves how they will proceed forward from there.
So that because of the volume of the representations that would have been made here tonight and maybe beyond tonight, what I want to know is, will you be giving consideration to the input that citizens have made at the public hearing?
We always do.
You always do. Well, I don't know that that's
all. We do. Right now, I'm taking into consideration of your comments as you are doing right now.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. But you will not be doing third reading and adoption at the very same meeting, will you?
You're asking a different question. That's after all the comments have been made. We will resolve as a council what we will do. So right now, we're here to listen to you.
All right, thank you. So in the agenda package for this meeting, you state on the cover page that the PDA bylaw is to authorize the district commission, da-da-da-da. On the cover page, you omitted the words 20-year. And that does not seem to be appearing anywhere in the document until one gets to page 62 of the package. Was that just an omission? Or? It could be very misleading to members of the public who, reading the document, see an agreement and they don't know that this is an agreement of 20 years.
Your comment is that we should have put it on the
I think we should.
That's a comment that I'll take note of that.
But it's a very, very significant omission in my view. Because as a member of the public, if I saw there's an agreement, there's one kind of response I can have. If I see a 20-year agreement, it will give me cause to stop and think, what is happening here? Anyway, given, and I will confine my remarks to the PDA, the Phase Development Agreement, the 20-year Phase Development Agreement. Given the September 29 letters by Genstar and Madison, can you categorically say that there is a Phase Development Agreement between yourself, Genstar, and Madison?
We have it. We have a document that we agreed on and that we put on the package. I could, on behalf of the district, I would say whatever I say, but I did agree with when we are to put an agreement for you and the rest of the community, rezoning, as well as the plan, so that you can review it. What I did tell Kenneth at that time is that those are the documents that the community will review, and that's the agreement we've got. So what you're asking me, that's a question you can ask Kenneth.
No, but you are having the just said not here having the public hearing, it's you. So I'm asking from your point of view, you consider that you have an agreement?
I do.
Very good. That's what I wanted to know. So in the identical, the letters from Genstar and Madison were identical letters, but signed by the different companies. And they state that although they are not philosophically opposed to the contents in general, the contents of the agreement, obviously the obligations therein, these are their words I'm quoting, are an additional burden on the development of the land in question. They want you to consider suggestions such as ways that the financial impact of the PDA could be softened. They want you to consider expropriation of third-party lands if necessary for easements and rights of way. They want to have assurance that the infrastructure costs for Silverdale can be spread over the necessary benefiting area, and that prior to committing funds or starting construction, the zoning and developments will need to be in place for at least neighborhood 1, and not just neighborhood 1 now, but neighborhood 2. They do not consider current infrastructure funding arrangement economically viable for them. Does this sound, and here's my question, does this sound like they have an agreement with you?
I think I read that letter as any transaction or negotiations, somebody who tries to open a negotiation after you have had agreements. You were at that meeting where I was very clear that I'm not reopening a negotiation.
And I congratulate you for that.
So I did clearly indicate that, and that's the position of this council, and you know that.
I heard your position and I accept it. I'm talking about the other parties to the agreement. So here's my point.
You can ask them. I can't.
I am not the one. It is not my job to ask them. It is your job on behalf of the people of this community. Sorry?
We are not here to debate, and I did indicate very clearly that I'm not going to debate with you. You asked a question, I've told you, I've given you an answer, you continue making your comments, otherwise I'll consider your question as rhetorical, because I'm not going to debate.
Your worship, with respect, if you say to me, I could ask Genstar, I cannot stand here and not respond to you. Okay.
Do you want him to answer that question? Because he is.
I am going to go further on that point. You have the parties who have made an agreement, and then having made an agreement, they send you letters asking for different conditions. Not only that, at my delegation on October the 6th, I asked questions about the 20-year phase development agreement being sent to the Inspector of Municipalities. At that time, I did not know what the true situation was. I thought you, as the district, had submitted the application. But your staff, when they replied to my delegation, gave me the answer that it was the developer who submitted the request for the 20-year approval. So tie my first point with the second point. The parties have come to an agreement with you. They have then, having come to an agreement with you, submitted a request to the Inspector of Municipalities for approval of that 20-year agreement. And then they follow with September 29 letters asking for different conditions. What kind of developer is this?